Ukraine has launched long-range missiles into Russia. Those were supplied by the US, the UK, and soon to be France. Russia says this is a red line. You need Western help to sort out the coordinates when you shoot the missiles. Therefore, the West is directly involved, says Russia. Putin threatened nuclear escalation if that happened. Joe Biden gave the thumbs up anyway. Ukraine struck, and we're still here. That means Putin did not press the red button, and nuclear apocalypse waits for another day. Firstly, it's important to point out that Joe Biden did not give Ukraine a free hand. Yes, Ukraine can strike Russia with America's long-range missiles, but not any part that it wants, only the parts that America has approved. And it turns out that's not a lot. You see, what really upset America was when Russia got North Korean soldiers involved in the war. Come on, says America to Russia. You talk about escalation, but you've just got another country's entire military involved in a foreign war. And for bonus points, America considers North Korea as part of the axis of evil. So Joe Biden has said to Ukraine, yes, you can strike deep into Russia, but only the parts of Russia where North Korean soldiers are being kept, or where their weapons are, or where there's any North Korean involvement. And America says, well, Ukraine, if you do happen to hit North Korean troops, well, that'll teach them. But Russia is still in the way of long-range missiles, and so Russia has reacted. Firstly, in words, Putin has said the war has now taken on global aspects. That's a nice way of saying world war without saying world war. Putin has also said that any weapons used to hit Russia are fair game, and Russia can hit those weapons back, even if they're not in Russia or Ukraine. What he's saying is, I don't care where the weapons are being held. In particular, Russia has eyed up a US base in Poland, and Putin described that airbase in Poland as a legitimate target. Well, yes, Putin, striking a NATO country, for whatever reason, would indeed make it a global war. And then there is the physical act of revenge as well, because Putin doesn't just stick to words, he likes to show some substance as well. Shortly after Ukraine launched their long-range missile strike into Russia, Russia responded with its own missile strike, a very, very big missile strike. The missile is a new one. It travels at 11 times the speed of sound. It's called a hypersonic missile. Your air defenses cannot stop my new missile, says Russia. And not only can those missiles travel very fast and do a lot of damage, they can also carry nuclear warheads. So while Putin has not yet launched nuclear warfare, he has made the threat seem just a little bit more realistic. Russia has also started bringing in another country to the war. Yes, the Financial Times recently reported that men from Yemen have started turning up on the front line, promised luxurious salaries only to find themselves in the hostile conditions of war staring down the front line. And Russia has also changed its legal documents, which set out the precedent for nuclear war. It's still a bit vague, but in those documents, Russia is saying, if you strike me with long-range missiles, I can use nuclear weapons if I want. Look, let's be realistic. Russia knew that it could take Ukraine in a few days if it wasn't for Western help. Therefore, Western intervention is Russia's biggest problem in this war. So one of the ways that Putin has tried to tackle Western involvement is to scare the West, both its politicians and its voters. And the hope is that if it can scare Western countries enough, it might pressure them into not helping Ukraine, and then Russia can sweep in and take what it has failed to take so far. It has partly worked. America has been slow in arming Ukraine, and even Hungary recently said that the West should pay more attention to Putin's words. Hungary says that by changing the legal doctrine for a nuclear war, Putin is not joking. Likewise, Donald Trump enters the White House in January, and he represents a small portion of Americans who really are frightened of Putin pressing the big red button. Trump aims to wind down the Ukraine war, but that might be hard. Russia wants to take more and more of Ukraine. Donald Trump wants to look strong. That could set Trump and Putin on a collision path. There is still approximately 2 months left before Biden finishes up and Trump takes over. That's an awkward transition period. The Ukraine war therefore feels like it's in limbo land, and the rules that have been determining the war for the last 2 years feel, well, more fragile than ever. What comes next feels wobbly. Escalation feels more inevitable. And therefore, Russia's revenge may not yet be over.